I'm Seth Seymour, and I am a representative from Mike Jacobs' virtual seminar. And our mission over the last semester was to promote the Ringling and help them raise money for their reservation. So we're going to show you the PowerPoint. We're going to start with the video from our own Jason Chapman.
Can I go to YouTube and just
go back to where you were on the PowerPoint. Unless, Jason, can you pull it up on YouTube? Go back to the PowerPoint and hit enable at the top. There's a yellow bar.
All right.
The Al Ringling Theater was built in 1915, and Al Ringling of the circus fame built the theater out of his personal fortune that he made in the circus business. The theater cost $100,000 when it was brand new in 1915. It was state-of-the-art for its time. It was the most spectacular theater in the Midwest. It was the first theater to incorporate a full stage and a full projection booth in the ornate palatial style. So it predated all of the movie palaces in the 1920s. The theater was owned by the Ringling family until 1915. Al died shortly after the theater opened, and his family continued to own the theater until 1953. And then in 1989, the nonprofit Al Ringling Theater Friends was formed to own and operate the theater. The Al Ringling Theater has been the center of arts, culture, and entertainment for the greater Baraboo area since 1915. When Al opened the theater presented a mix of live performances, major touring attractions, movies, and local community events. And the theater today still presents a similar mix of activities. The near future, we have a 100th anniversary coming up in 2015, and we'd like to do as much as we can do to make that event special. So major performances, continued renovation work in the theater. There's any number of ways to make the 100th anniversary special, and we want to do as much as we can to make that happen. So that's sort of a near future project. Obviously, one of the major objectives is to do a full interior restoration. We have a rough idea how much that costs, but we still need to do some homework to get that kind of fundraising put in place, because that would be a major fundraising project to do a full interior restoration. A lot of people in Baraboo and from Baraboo and around Baraboo would love to see the theater fully restored. It was a spectacular theater when it was opened, and it remains one of the best preserved old theaters in the country, but to restore it to its original glory would be a really spectacular achievement. There are always volunteer opportunities available at the Al Ringling Theater. We need volunteers who can help usher for shows, take tickets, hand out programs. We also have volunteers do some maintenance and upkeep on the building. We have a volunteer board of directors, volunteer committees that help with marketing and facilities. So there's a very strong volunteer component to the Al Ringling Theater Friends, and that volunteer support is also important to us. The theater has been a cultural touchstone for the Baraboo area and holds a special place in a lot of people's heart. People remember growing up in this town, seeing movies here, coming here as a kid, performing here as a kid. Some of them have graduated on the stage here. So there's a lot of personal connection to the theater with the local community. And to keep that going is a benefit to the theater and to the people who enjoy the theater. So we would just appreciate if people can continue to come to see events here. The nonprofit Al Ringling Theater Friends is a membership organization, and we encourage people to join as members, and that support keeps this theater going.
So that's a little bit about why we chose the Al Ringling Theater. And then this is a little bit more of what we did for the theater. So,
We helped in Dr. Ald's class with the zombie walk. I mean, they handled mostly everything, but we had individuals from our class playing music. Myself, I filmed the event for probably like next year's advertisement for that, and later on for that I guess later on that night we had a 9 o'clock showing of the Night of the Living Dead. So our goal while we were there was to help spread the message of that event that was going on later that night.
Okay, for advertising, Seth and I went around Baraboo, and we actually went to our own high school and handed out flyers, and we also, just to promote the Al Ringling and the Boo Fest and all that stuff.
we also have an advertisement group that is working to advertise future shows by putting out posters around and creating the posters themselves. Some things we'd like to do in the future.
From Brian, we got a list of names for the interview for the Al Ringling Theater based out on the archives and records of people who have visited there. And we like read their story and their favorite memories to add to the campus.
Some improvements that we all could have worked on is actually taking our ideas and putting them into action. Sometimes our communication wasn't the best. And obviously time, we felt like if we had more time, we could have done a lot more. And there's just a point. And I know that such an old theater, we all had to have learned something from this. So something I took away was obviously the amazing theater, how old it is, but I also learned you have to work with people, and they aren't going to approach a problem the same way you would. So you're going to have to get to know people before working on stuff. Special thanks to Dr. Jacobs and Diana, who was our peer mentor. And some contact information.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it wasn't over, but. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ringling has a few upcoming shows in the next couple months, and if you're willing to get involved in the community further, they're always looking for volunteers. Or if you want to just go see a show, here's some contact information to contact.
Thank you.